this is the book about a pandemic that occurred nearly 100 years ago that you are researching and writing about, literally during another pandemic.
This is a book about who lives and who dies based on the zip code in which you live. So these white nurses at the end of 1929 decide, we don't want to work here anymore. And they started like that, just hanging up their uniforms and walking out. White women had gained the right to vote. They were feeling independent. It was the age of like flappers. And they, as you said, had jobs that didn't have to kill them. They could be librarians, secretaries. Why would they want to take care of TB patients?
Seaview or many other companies in New York had to tell a compelling story for Black folks to leave their roots in the South to go up north. Yeah, they would be happy to leave Jim Crow, but they were also leaving a lifestyle that they knew.
They wanted nurses that were young and strong to exploit their labor, to have them work 15, 16 hours a day.
You mentioned Virginia, she was what, 16?
She was 16 years old. Imagine this room, and there would be a bed, a nightstand, a bed, a nightstand, a bed, a nightstand, 2 rows down, and then it became overcrowded, so it was down in the middle. So the nurses, if they could find a space, often slept on an empty bed or in a chair. These patients had been stripped of their dignity. You know, one patient said to me, I remember like having these fever dreams, and what I remember is waking up occasionally and having one of the Black nurses, this woman Clemmy, reading The Good Earth to her, because the young girl wanted to be Mamie, a librarian, and she loved books, and so that's what they did. And she said they gave me my dignity back. They weren't afraid of me.
There's a cure for TB that shows up in 1952.
Yes.
How are those Black nurses treated in the celebratory moment of this discovery?
They're ignored. They're completely ignored. Seaview was a place where not just the patients were considered second-rate, the nurses were. There was a meeting with the director of hospitals in 1933, and this young Black nurse, Celeria Key, stands up and says, Mr. President, why do you send Black nurses to Seaview? And he said, well, the reason we send Black nurses to Seaview is, quote, because in 20 years we won't have a colored problem in America because they'll all be dead from tuberculosis. And so the nurses were considered as expendable as the patients. It was his own.
So he said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, he said the quiet part out loud.
It's like the hidden figures of American medical history.
It is. The response has been like wonderful, and I love that the nurses are getting their recognition.